So guys, I'm back with another anime review video here for anime that I'm watching on the side that I don't have on my anime reactions list. So if you're watching this video and this is what you're interested in, definitely stick around for these type of videos. But if you're just here on the channel for reaction videos, which is totally fine as well, definitely stick around. But let's jump into this anime, guys. This anime is called The Case Study of Vanitas. Let's get into it. So, in episode 1 of the case study of Vanitas, titled In the Event of Rusty Hopes, we have this character here on the right. His name is Noé. He basically came to the rescue of this young lady here who who sort of kind of passed out. She had been whispering to herself that she's cold. Her name is Amelia, and he's just concerned for the young lady. He even offers her to take her to the infirmary, aka the hospital, just because again she doesn't seem to feel well, doesn't look well, and he's just definitely concerned for her well-being, and he just talking to her, and eventually his cat Mur jumps out, which she enjoyed that part because she basically saying how warm the cat is. But at the same time, this young lady is showing some interesting signs of herself, which we find out a little bit later. There's a reason for that here in episode 1. Now, way at the very beginning, the opening of this anime, we are getting this folktale being told by somebody narrating, basically talking about this vampire named Vanitas, right? And they were talking about, because anime is centered around vampires, they were talking about how there were a set of vampires that were born the under the crimson moon, right? But Vanitas was born under the blue moon, which they, as you can see here, it says a sign of an ill omen. And his vampire kin basically took kind of like took offense to his birth being under the blue moon, excuse me. And they basically look to want to like banish Vanitas during this story. From moving forward in the story, Vanitas decided that from this folktale that Vanitas wanted to take vengeance on those who were born under the crimson moon. So again, this story was being told at the very beginning, and again, there's a reason for this story being told here because we found out some information later on, moving forward later on in episode 1. Now, one of the things that I forgot to mention about that folktale is that one of the key things about that folktale is that Vanitas the vampire has a grimoire, this book, and it basically helps him throughout his journey. Now, this character's name is Vanitas. Vanitas is somebody who he has a partner with him. There was an airship that was floating, I guess, towards the building that they're in, right? Basically, this station, right? And what ended up happening in that scene with Vanitas and his partner, he basically states like, I'm here, I've arrived, I'm looking, the person that I'm looking for is in the vicinity. This person is here. So Vanitas jumps through this window, basically in the direction of Amelia and Noé, right? And he basically tries to grab Amelia, but Noé pulls her away from him like very swiftly, very fast. But eventually we find out because Vanitas decides that he wants to attack Noé to try to take him out so that he can get his hands on Amelia. We find out that Amelia is a vampire. We find out that Zoe's a vampire. Noé's a vampire. Excuse me, Noé's a vampire too, because of the way that he moves swiftly. And then Vanitas he can even tell like, oh, you're a vampire too, even by your movement. You're very quick, very fast on your feet. But in the midst of all of this happening, Amelia is slow. She's not slowly turning into a vampire. It's just the pacing of it seems slow, but she is gradually going into the transformation of becoming a vampire, which in itself is very interesting to see happen. So with Amelia transforming into a vampire, this is the scene that we get where it actually occurs. It's like a dream state or something like that, right? She's sitting surrounded by like this pollen, I guess, and it's a beautiful space, right? It's very it's very bright, looks very uh, like a comfortable place to be in, especially if you don't have any allergies to pollen, right? But she's here, but it's like she was asleep, and she wakes up and she sees this world that she's surrounded in, and again, it looks very very peaceful, but it gets really really weird as we move forward in this scene, because again, a very peaceful place becomes a very dark place all within moments. And so all within moments, within seconds of this very peaceful place that Amelia is sitting in this dream state, this shadowy black creature shows up, says that it loves this place that it's in, fine place that it's being, and it grabs Amelia's face, and it even says here, "Will you give this place your true name to me?" There's a reason why that the shadowy figure is saying that, give me this place, this your true name. There's a reason why it's saying that, and we get that explanation moving forward in the episode. But this is how Amelia, we basically see her walking into becoming a vampire, and I believe that from what was explained a little bit later on in the episode, I believe that this shadowy figure is playing a key role into transforming many other people into vampires as well. But it's just a really really weird scene, but it was just it still had me intrigued. I just couldn't turn away. I just really really couldn't stop watching the scene, guys. So with that, in that dream state, that shadowy figure, it ends up kissing Amelia, and this is what causes her to transform, because in that dream state it shows her like that looks like a heart shaped black rose. It shows up on her chest, and she starts like bleeding black blood basically in that dream state. This is what the actual what it actually looks like when she starts to fully transform into a vampire. Here you see her eyes are all black and they're bleeding black blood. In that dream state, she covered her hands with her eyes, and more of that gushing black blood was flowing like profusely out of her eyes, and it was just really just sick. It was just really just like, I was just sitting there like, just wow, like this is, I wasn't expecting any of this walking into that scene. But again, this is her starting to fully transform, but then we get even more out of this transformation within the next few seconds to come. Now, one of the things that I forgot to mention too, guys, during just before Amelia transforms, she's being like tended to by Noé and somebody else. She ends up grabbing Noé from behind, like hugging him, and to the point to where she kind of rips a part of his shirt open to reveal his neck. She ends up biting his neck, and that's what helps her fully transform. But as you see here in this scene, though, there's some tentacles. They're called brias or brias. That Vanitas explains that the briars are tentacles that basically will latch on to any and everybody that it can reach out to, grab. So there were definitely some civilians in the vicinity. She grabbed them to try to attack them, but and like that's the thing, because I mentioned that Noé is a vampire as well. He even makes the statement of saying like, we're forbidden to attack human beings. That was something key that stood out to me. But at the same time, Noé, because he was also trying to get away from Amelia, his movements were kind of like stunned and stopped. He also mentions that because of the bite that he got from Amelia, he was saying, is this a poisonous bite? So there's some type of toxin that can halt you in your movements and stuff. Maybe that's something that specifically is that occurs from not just from Amelia, but from other vampires as well. But again, this scene here with the tentacles popping out, it was just really really just, it was really, really cool to see, but it was really, really scary and interesting at the same time. And so once Vanitas steps in to basically save the day, he he starts to explain some stuff to Noé. We of course we get Noé's name towards the end of the episode, and we get some other explanations towards the end of the episode. But we find out that Vanitas is holding the grimoire, the grimoire that that Noé was looking for. He was looking for this grimoire book that somebody, a guardian or something, a parent, somebody, a family member, friend, somebody told him about. This folk tale of Vanitas the vampire, the grimoire, and even leaving him a note. We get a flashback of that too, of that conversation of him being left a note from the person he looked up to, and telling him to go he needs to go to Paris to find this grimoire, to search out and look for some information. But lo and behold, Vanitas is holding that book, that grimoire book, right in his hand right now, and he basically props it open. He tells Noé, like, I'm a doctor, I specialize in vampire, and I'm here to, I'm basically here to cure Amelia. I'm here to help them. And that's what he basically explains to Noé towards the end of the episode, after he cures Amelia. He even says that, vampires, they cling to the true names of the person to transform them into a vampire. So Amelia's real name is Flory Fell, if I remember correctly. That's what he says. And then she even, like, when she wakes up and realizes that he says that name, she's like, that's that name sounds really, really, truly familiar to me. So it's just one of those things that when this was getting all explained and Vanitas was telling Noé what was really going on, we also find out that, because Noé told Vanitas that, this is the folk tale that I was told about, about you, about the grimoire, about you being a vampire. We find out that Vanitas is not a vampire at all. He's just a human being. He's a doctor, but he still has the book, and the book has some type of magical ability to it, to where he can still use it. Then that's the thing that I kind of question, like, how is he able to use this grimoire book? How is he able to use the magic that flows through it to be able to do what he's capable of doing? Just one of those questions, many other questions that I have in this, pertaining to episode 1, after watching it and rewatching it again. It's just, when did he come across this book? When did he, what made him even go on this journey? How, what made him go on the journey to be a doctor, to specifically go in the field of curing vampires themselves. So it's just one of those things, guys, where this episode was just really, really fun, and the music was really, really beautiful. It was really, really, just really beautiful. It was orchestra sounding, and I love orchestra music in itself. So this was like heaven to me as far as this episode is concerned. So we find out all this key information about the vampires, about Vanitas, that again wasn't fully true, but Noé looks like him and Vanitas are going to go on this adventure together to, and Vanitas even says, like, you're going to be my my vampire shield, but Noé's like, that's not going to happen. But it looks like they're going to be going out together to fight some vampires and maybe cure some, and maybe Noé will get cured too, if that's what's the plot of the anime. But I really enjoyed episode 1, guys. What did you all think of it? If you watched episode 1 of the case of the case study of Vanitas, let's talk about some things in the comment section below. I really, really enjoyed this episode, guys. Let's talk about some things. Let me know your thoughts on this review video. Sorry that it's long. As always, try to keep these review videos at least 10 minutes or less, at least. But with that, guys, I'm about to be out. I will talk to you all with more the case study of Vanitas. Peace, guys.